So I'm using a mica powder to paint my mold. It's where you just take your brush and dip it in, tap off the excess, and then just paint your mold. I wanted a red letter. I was trying to do this for my son. I was going to make a keychain, but the powder was more of a pinkish purple hue, which you'll see at the end. So yeah, I'm just kind of taking it and painting the mold with it before I put my resin in. So after I got the red or pinkish purple, whatever, painted in, I wanted to do like an ombre type, or at least attempt to. So I sprayed my brush with some alcohol and dipped it in blue, but my brush was a little bit damp still, so it actually ended up removing some of the red. So the ombre effect, it didn't do exactly what I had in mind, but it wasn't bad. So after I had the colors in there that I wanted, I needed to shake the excess out. So I just kind of tapped it out into a tray that I had set off to the side just to make sure that there wasn't any excess in there. And then I done clear UV resin because I'm impatient and I wanted like instant results. So I just put it straight into the mold from the bottle. I didn't mix anything with this, not yet, but you'll see that I do later. And I didn't fill it up with the UV resin in here. I'm just like kind of making sure that there's no air bubbles or anything like that, just to make sure that it was evenly dispersed. And then I take a lighter just to pop any bubbles that may have formed. So once I had all of the air bubbles and everything removed, then I got my little UV light, and I had seen that if you hold it up above your resin instead of having it directly down on it, that it helps it because it doesn't allow it to cure too fast. If it cures too fast, then it can kind of curve, and I did not know that. I'm new to all of this. So I held it up and cured it that way, and I only done a partial cure on this because I wanted to add a black to it to allow those colors to kind of pop out or stand out. So I used some black liquid pigment, and I know that black is not really, you're not really able to cure it properly with the UV. So I done a little bit at a time, and I done it in layers. Now, it did take a very long time for this to cure, and it still didn't cure all the way. It was kind of soft, which you'll see a little bit later. So now that I had all of the black in there that I needed, I tried to take my little popsicle stick to make sure that it was all over to the edges, or kind of like mixed properly, I guess you could say. I didn't have toothpicks at the time. I have them now. So the popsicle wasn't working, so I used one of the little spoons to help get everything over to the edge before I cured it. I removed a lot of that because it was like quite literally like watching paint dry. So another thing that I learned when doing UV resin is that you need to flip over your mold and cure it from the underside just to be sure that those UV rays are able to really penetrate your art. So that's what I'm doing here. I just turned it over, gave that a good cure, and again, it took a while to get this piece to cure. So now I was able to demold it. The little things in the center was a little stuck, but I finally got the letter to break free. It was still a little tacky there in the center, so I tried to hold it a little bit closer to the UV light, hoping that it would help. It didn't, and I ended up having to set it in a window for a couple of days to go ahead and finish curing all the way. So now it's all out of the mold, and here you can see how it's kind of a purplish pinkish color instead of a red. And then the little ombre effect, it's a little blurry, but I'm learning. So yeah, I wasn't able to make a keychain out of it, but I will make him one. But I'm not too upset with it. I think it turned out pretty good. Thanks so much for watching.